Every transformation in my life journey started with one moment. Not when I felt motivated, or not when I had everything figured out, not when the stars aligned perfectly. They all began with a single decision where I looked at my life and said, I refuse to keep living this way. I want to start by saying that I'm not a behavioral expert, and my only expertise in everything I'm about to share is through hard-earned, real-life experience. What works and what doesn't, no quick fixes, no magic pills. Let me start with a story from my own life. On October 14th of 2014, I was standing out on the loading dock of the building I worked at, huddled between the dumpsters and the door. It was cold, raining, and I was already suffering from a nasty flu. Why was I out there? Well, I was a smoker, and I had been smoking between 1 to 2 packs a day since I was a teenager. Smoking was rapidly falling out of favor in the world, and we smokers were rapidly beginning to be shunned and corralled into smoking areas. I stood there wet and freezing, and I lit up. I took that first drag, an activity that lost the dopamine hit that had gotten me hooked eons ago, and predictably I coughed a lot. It was in that moment of respiratory distress that I asked myself a simple question. What the hell was I doing? Why was I doing this to myself? I put out the cigarette, I crushed the pack and tossed it in the dumpster, and I never looked back. I got an app because I'm a geek, so I could track my progress. And here I am 11 years, 3 months, and something days later, smoke-free. I tried the gums and the patches, drugs, quitting cold turkey dozens of times over the years. Time after time, I had chosen cigarettes over anything that would have made my life more pleasant, sometimes including food. So what made this time and place so different? I made a decision. I wasn't quitting for my wife or my kids or my job or any other reasons people say they want to quit smoking. I made a decision that I was quitting for me. We've been told a dangerous lie about change. Society tells us we need to wait until we feel ready. We think motivation has to strike like lightning, and we convince ourselves that perfect timing will somehow appear. But here's the brutal truth. Readiness is nothing more than a comfortable prison. Motivation comes and goes like the weather, and perfect timing is a myth that keeps you stuck forever. Real change doesn't happen when life becomes easier. It happens when you finally decide you're finished suffering. Let me take you back to a morning that changed everything for me. Now, drugs had always been a big and mostly secret part of my life for many years. We can talk about that, the whens and the whys, in another video. But on this particular day back in 2004, I woke up and caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. Not just my reflection, but who I had become. And at that moment, I wasn't thinking about recovery programs or life coaches or self-help books. I was staring at someone I didn't recognize anymore. The weight of my choices hit me like a freight train. Now I realized that every single day I was actively choosing destruction and convincing myself that I was somehow the victim. And I was choosing to hurt myself and everyone who cared about me. But if I could choose that path, then I had the power to choose something completely different. I made a decision. This wasn't about becoming stronger overnight, and this wasn't about finding some hidden reserve of willpower. This was about recognizing that choice itself was my superpower. The moment I understood that, everything shifted. Here's how real change actually works. Picture it like this. A choice is the initial spark that ignites everything. Action becomes the fuel that feeds the fire. Consistency turns into the engine that keeps you moving forward. Identity becomes your final destination. But absolutely nothing happens until you make that first critical decision. You don't need to understand every step of the journey ahead. You just need to choose that you will take it. Now, let me give you the exact framework that turns choices into lasting transformation. This is the practical roadmap your life has been waiting for. Step 1 requires complete honesty about your current reality. No sugarcoating allowed, no excuses or justifications, no elaborate stories about why things are the way they are. Just one simple question that cuts through everything. Is this life actually working for me? Most people avoid change because they refuse to face the truth. They'd rather live in comfortable denial than confront what's really happening. Step 2 demands you make a non-negotiable decision. This isn't wishful thinking. This isn't hoping things will magically improve. And this isn't saying, "Oh, I'll try my best." This is drawing a line in the sand that cannot be crossed. You declare with absolute certainty, I am finished with this behavior and I'm choosing a completely different life. No room for maybe, no back doors left open, just a firm commitment to a new direction. Step 3 requires you to eliminate the path back to your old life. Genuine change needs friction built into the system. You can't rely on willpower alone because willpower fails you when you need it the most. Instead, you have to redesign your entire environment. Delete contacts in your phone that enable destructive behavior. Change your physical surroundings. Remove triggers that pull you backwards. Tell someone you trust about your decision so accountability becomes real. Replace harmful behaviors with activities that are completely incompatible with your old patterns. You're not just fighting temptation. You're making your previous life impossible to return to. Now, step 4 focuses on building unstoppable momentum through small victories. People fail at lasting change because they try to transform everything simultaneously. Real transformation happens through stacking tiny wins that compound over time. One day of making better choices, one small action towards your goal, one night of choosing differently, one moment of saying no to what used to control you. These micro victories gradually become your new identity. Here's where something magical starts to happen. Once you make the choice and begin taking action, you stop being the person who wants to change and you become the person who is actively changing. Your identity begins shifting without you even realizing it. Identity follows action. Action follows choice. This is how you evolve from someone trapped by their circumstances into someone who creates their own reality. The most important truth I can share with you is this: you don't need a flawless plan mapped out in advance. You don't need motivation to strike you like lightning. You don't need to wait for some perfect moment that may never come. You just need to make one choice, one decision that declares, I am completely done living like this. The moment you make that choice, really make it with every fiber of your being, your entire world starts shifting around you. Opportunities appear that you never noticed before. People enter your life who support your new direction. Solutions emerge for problems that seemed impossible. Everything changes because you changed first. The challenge is whether your choice is genuine or not. I wish I had some wisdom I could share that solves all the mysteries, but in all honesty, I still haven't made a decision to finish dealing with my weight or honestly tackle my diabetes. I could get a twofer right there if I could just get to a place where I made the decision, just like I had for drugs or cigarettes. I guess the pain isn't great enough yet. So if you're standing at that crossroads right now, if you're tired of being stuck in the patterns that don't serve you, I want you to do something powerful. Drop a comment below that says, "I'm choosing change." Don't do it for me, not for anyone else watching, but do it for yourself. Because the moment you choose, the moment you commit to something better, everything else becomes possible. Your new life is waiting for that choice. Make it today. Now, you don't have to do this alone. I started a Facebook group and put the link in the comments. Completely free, no strings attached. The most valuable tool you have when trying to make a change is a community, and I want to build one. A supportive group of folks that know how to listen and give their perspective, even when it may not be what you want to hear. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let me know if there are any topics you want me to cover, and check out this video over here next.